When we talk about it is being mentioned, when we mention the concept of our personal God, we're talking about our conscience as being an entity with high intelligence assigned to us to direct us on this planet Earth to do the right thing. So when we go against our conscience, we are against God, because our conscience is connected to the concept of God, because it's higher intelligence. Anything that we consider containing higher intelligence, we call God, because intelligence solves problems, and God solves problems. Intelligence prevents problems. Keep in mind that intelligence solves problems. So we're saying that intelligence is God, and God is intelligence. We have many levels of intelligences. Some are higher than others. So there are many levels of the concept of God. Sometimes, I imagined that the Catholic religion has sometimes mentioned something in association to this, when they mention that God needed helpers. And they come up with angels and archangels to help God with chores in the universe. Well, we're saying that an angel does not have as much intelligence as an archangel. An archangel is at a higher level of intelligence than an angel. And God, the supreme God, the chief, let's say, is situated on an even higher level of intelligence than the archangel. So this is what we talk about, or what we mean by a hierarchy of intelligences that are governed by the supreme intelligence that reigns over the whole universe. And if this is so, then common sense indicates, sound judgment, that this supreme intelligence, may it be a sole entity or a group of entities, maybe something compared to, say, the President of the United States and all his helpers, congressmen, the senators, and so forth, and then governors of states and others assigned to govern either a city, a county, or a city, and so forth. Different levels of intelligence. So our primary and immediate contact with the hierarchy of God is our conscience, because it's a spiritual entity that we can talk to, and we get an idea that it talks back to us when we decide to do the right thing, not the wrong thing. When we have decided to do the right thing, we are saying that we have understood our conscience and we are being guided in the right direction. And the right thing always solves problems. The right thing always keeps people from suffering, alleviates suffering, and keeps us from destroying. That is our conscience, our immediate connection to the hierarchy of God. But then again, if we have to deal with others, then we are consciously connecting our awareness to our conscience to communicate with others at the spirit dimension, other entities. Now, some people mistake or confuse this function with Spiritism. Well, Spiritism is something else. Spiritism is another sect of a religion, of the Christian religion. They're Christians, but they believe that these spirit entities can be called back, meaning what they believe in is someone who has died and is now in the spirit world. We don't believe that they're going to stay in the spirit world all the time for an eternity. That's our concept, of course. They're going to be assigned to maybe other galaxies, other solar systems, and so on. There's so much work in the universe that we need to be assigned to help God, the hierarchy of intelligences in improving conditions on planets like ours, for instance, to try and want to convert this planet into a paradise. As our main goal should be. But then again, some believe that we are dealing in Spiritism. Well, Spiritism is a concept of this sect of a Christian religion that believe that they can call back anyone who has died before, maybe a doctor, a surgeon, and somebody needs surgery, needs doctoring, that they can get into this dimension, mental dimension, and then call this entity over and lend their bodies so this entity can enter their bodies and work through their bodies and do the doctoring or surgery. But we don't deal in that. We do consult our conscience. Sometimes we call our conscience God, Lord, Father. Sometimes we call it counselor. And then whatever we receive through mental transmission or transference as an idea as to what to do, we go ahead and do it, and we're sure to be doing something constructive, creative, alleviating suffering, and correcting problems. But we do it ourselves. We do not lend our body to the spirit entity. We just consult the spirit entity and function in relation to what information we perceive. But to be sure that we are on the right track, that we're not harming anything, is the results of what you're doing. Are you solving a problem? Are you alleviating suffering? If you are, you're on the right track, on the right path. If it's the other way around, you stop immediately. You don't want to create problems, you don't want to cause suffering, you don't want to destroy. And this is the concept that we have, to consult our God, personal God. See, we don't want to bother the chief, the supreme God, the reins of the whole universe. But we do bother the one assigned to govern over us, our conscience. And we speak back and forth, talk back and forth, until we arrive at a solution or a conclusion that solves the problem. If we are solving problems, we know we are on the right track. Because they say, this is another thought interesting. Some people believe in the devil, okay? And some people also believe that the supreme God is all-powerful. Then common sense tells you, sound judgment, if God is all-powerful, why couldn't God take care of the devil, get rid of the devil? Why did he allow the devil to hurt his creatures? That doesn't make sense. So what makes sense is that there's no devil. The devil is ignorance, and because of ignorance, or contradicting our conscience, we ourselves create problems. When we contradict conscience, our conscience, and create a problem, or cause suffering, or destruction, they say it's the devil. Well, we did it because we did not know any better. Had we known our mission in life, our obligation, as what we're supposed to be doing, we wouldn't commit those or create those problems. We would just be constructive, creative, and concerned with solving problems and alleviating suffering. And that's what our conscience indicates us to do, or guides us to do. So we're saying that ignorance is a devil, and there are many levels of ignorance, so there's many devils. Many levels of ignorance, there's many devils. Ignorance is the devil is ignorance. And because of not knowing any better, we commit mistakes, we sin, they say. Sin is when we hurt God's creation, or we go against God. The hierarchy of intelligence is in the whole universe. Whenever we go against such intelligence, they say it's a sin. Meaning, it's something that's not recommended by our conscience. So again, people who do not abide by their conscience creates a lot of stress, hurt the immune system, and before long, they're not going to be around anymore to create any more problems. There is a brain frequency dimension. It's called the Alpha Kingdom. It's called a kingdom because it's 7 subdivisions of 7 cycles of brain activity between 7 and 14 cycles. It's called the Alpha Dimension. And that is a complete kingdom because it's 7 subdivisions. Anything that's a kingdom or 7 subdivisions is a complete kingdom. Remember we mentioned that the kingdom of music is 7 notes, that the kingdom of pure white light is 7 colors of the rainbow, the kingdom where the biological bodies function on planet Earth, 7 chakras, and so on. So Alpha can be considered, Alpha is the name given to this dimension by scientists, brain researchers, and when the brain vibrates between 7 and 14, that dimension is called the Alpha. That's the pure spiritual dimension. That is the subconscious for people who do not know how to use that dimension consciously. So for people who have learned to use that dimension consciously, the Alpha, 7 to 14 cycles per second, 10 is the center, then these people have learned to use the subconscious consciously. Now, this Alpha dimension is a connection to the right brain hemisphere, the connection to the spirit world, the connection to the invisible world, because the right brain hemisphere reigns in the spiritual, invisible world of the mind. So we need to enter that dimension to communicate with our local internal God, you see, our conscience, and to then come up and do whatever we decide to do after consulting our conscience, our personal God. You see, the Alpha dimension, theologically, is being called the Holy Spirit dimension, the kingdom of heaven, the inner kingdom of heaven that's within us. If some of the prophets said, as I understand it, they wrote the scriptures, if they say that it is here or there, the kingdom of heaven, he's talking about the kingdom of heaven, do not believe them. It's not here or there, it's within you. So then we need to enter within ourselves to find that dimension that's connected to the right brain hemisphere to be able to function from the right brain hemisphere perspective. And that is we're functioning in the spirit dimension or the spiritual dimension. And this is where we pray. We say, pray for those that want to pray, meaning connecting yourself by a procedure, a step-by-step procedure to your God. And we say our personal God we can communicate with through our conscience, because our conscience is our personal God. And that personal God or spirit entity that exists in this spirit dimension is connected to the hierarchy that's called God. The whole hierarchy at all levels of intelligence, that is called God. Of course, we suspect that there is a top one or a supreme one at the very top. Are there lesser ones? There must be greater ones. So this is again sound judgment, called common sense, and sometimes called horse sense. We have said that religion is a step-by-step procedure as how you communicate with your God. So many groups of people have different concepts as to how they should do it. Some kneel in prayer, some don't kneel in prayer. Some go to confession, some don't go to confessions. Some say the God is within themselves. Well, this could well be their inner conscience or their conscience that's connected to the hierarchy of God. God, keep in mind, the hierarchy of intelligences, spiritual intelligences, is what's called God. So we start communicating with God by contacting our own conscience. So religion is just the step-by-step procedure as to how you should communicate with your God. That's called religion. Techniques, mental techniques that come through training and that are effective at the Alpha dimension. See, the Alpha dimension, connection to our conscience, to our God, is a dimension that we can use to solve all kinds of problems, especially the health problems. That's what that dimension was for. This is what I believe is my personal concept, that Jesus, the Christ they used to call him, used to tell us Like saying to solve all kinds of problems, first, seek the kingdom of heaven. And some other prophet said, that's within you. And function within God's righteousness, and everything else will be added unto you. I mean, it's plainly stated right there. So what do we do if we are tired? I mean, run out of energy. We work so hard, mentally and physically, we're exhausted. You want to replenish your energy and to your level anytime during the day or night. I mean, get yourself away from noises, distractions. Maybe you want to go to the bathroom and go to your level with the eyes slightly rolled upwards, 20 degrees, remember? And closed, eyelids closed. And then there, you tell yourself, I feel tired, I feel exhausted. I don't want to feel tired or exhausted. I'm going to count from 1 to 5, and at the count of 5, I will not be tired or exhausted. And you count slowly, 1, then 2, at this rate that I'm going, 3, at the count of 3, you repeat. At the count of 5, I'm going to open my eyes. I will not be tired or exhausted at all. Then say 4, then 5, and open your eyes. And with your eyes open, you say to yourself, I'm not tired, I'm not exhausted. I'm full of energy. And you're going to feel and be full of energy. And you've solved that problem by functioning at that inner kingdom or inner dimension.